Today's episode is brought to you by the Pre-Market Movers. Check us out at thepremarketmovers.com. We are your number one source for everything Wall Street related, broadcasting to you live on social audio platforms worldwide. You can catch us on Clubhouse as well as Twitter Spaces, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out online at thepremarketmovers.com. That's thepremarketmovers.com.
We are here on the episode of the Entrepreneur Kickback. In this episode, I'm here with David.Wright. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for coming in, and I appreciate you. I was looking at your bio here. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm running to nothing but peacocks here. So
Sure.
So for the audience, for those who may not know you, can you give a brief description of yourself and your skill set?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wear a lot of different hats. So I mean, it does cover a lot of different areas. But I'm executive director of practice development at M&O Marketing. That's my official title. What that really means is that we're a brokerage firm for independent financial professionals that work out in the field, out in their communities. So all of my clients are entrepreneurs. They're all their own business owners. And what I do is I help them to take better care of their clients, help them to grow their business, and help them to find the right products that meet their clients' needs. So for independent financial professionals, they have to have, the back office support of a brokerage firm like ours to get access to the different types of products that exist in the marketplace.
Okay. And so if I'm hearing this correctly, so for example, like, let's say I had some financial services available, but I need back offices for like insurance, maybe, annuities, things of that nature.
Yeah, exactly. That's life insurance and annuities. That's really our bread and butter here on the M&O marketing side. We do also have a wealth management division through the RIA and broker dealer that we own, which is CoreCap. But day in, day out, what I'm doing is I'm working with the financial professionals. I'm saying, hey, this is why you should use us as your back office support, because not only are we going to help you process your business and find the right products for your client, but at the end of the day, what's really most important is helping you see more people and develop the processes that you need for business development. That way you can scale. So we're working with, high growth firms.
Okay, so it sounds like you're a wholesaler for information.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would consider myself, I don't want to be the library itself, but I'm the librarian. So, they come to me for those resources when they have questions that maybe they just don't necessarily know where to find the answer. I facilitate that, or, if they're looking for ways to get in front of more people and, they're looking for some of the best practices. Hey, what are the top financial advisors doing in the country? How do they walk their clients through the appointment process? How do I, handle certain objections? How do I go about hiring staff and qualifying staff, making sure that they're in the right position and they know what their job roles are?
Okay, so that's a little more than just securities and investments. That's overall just running a business.
It takes on a real consulting role.
So you have a business on helping businesses start a business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually we're working with financial advisors that are, already established and doing a certain volume of business, but maybe they've just hit that glass ceiling where they don't know where to take it next. They want to get to that next level, but they don't know, everything that is involved in actually getting to that level. And that's where I come in.
Okay. How did you get into that? How did you get into this particular type of business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I've been with M&O Marketing for going on 6 years now as a national wholesaler, but originally I was going to school for marketing and finance. I had always worked different sales jobs, always ran my own small businesses. And at one point in time, I was actually reading a magazine back in my hometown, and they did this story on a local marketing firm. Well, I thought, hey, you know what? I'll give them a call. I'm looking for a job in the field that I'm studying. And turns out, I was under the impression maybe they were like an advertising agency, but they were actually marketing insurance and annuity products to financial professionals. So I worked with them for a couple of years, just developing the systems that they needed in place. And I ended up working with one of the financial professionals. So I worked as an advisor under him for two years before he relocated to North Carolina. I'm a Michigan guy. I was born and raised here. So, I wanted to stay where the family was. And that's when I found M&O. And since joining the team, I've continued my studies. I've picked up some new licenses, new designations. I've worked and helped, firms that were maybe doing $200,000 to $300,000 in gross revenue, and I've helped them grow up to $1 million plus in revenue. So it's been quite the journey.
That sounds like a fun journey to where you can help a company. You can see a company that's already rock solid, and then you can help them reach the stratosphere. And you can say that you did that. One thing I would like to touch on based off what you said, I want people to take note, is that you can have a business helping businesses make more money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, business owners, they have, a lot of responsibilities. And sometimes when you're a business owner, you just don't know what you don't know. So that's why advisors come to me a lot of times, because I might have access to, 100 different top producing financial advisors all over the country. And I've just seen things and seen the systems that they have in place that maybe that advisor wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. So they come to us to use us as that resource. And, we lay it out for them. Hey, this is the best practices. This is, you have your vision in mind, but do you have that vision out of your mind and down on paper? Does your team, do they know your vision? Do they know what their role is in that vision? How do we get those processes and put it down on paper so that, when you do start to grow and you bring on maybe a junior advisor, a paraplanner, or you're just looking to bring on more support staff, do they know everything that goes into what their job duties look like? And do they know, why the process is so important? So those are, just some of the responsibilities that fall under my wheelhouse.
Okay. It's so many layers there. And how did you end up in this particular business? Because you said you ran and operated your businesses before, which sounds like it led you to this. What was your origin story as far as you running and operating your business?
Yeah, so it's funny, no one's ever really asked me about my origin story, but so I was running small businesses while I was going to school, working sales jobs full time. So I ran a DJing company. I would DJ a lot of the local area nightclubs, bars, weddings, just about any event that you can imagine. Detroit Fashion Week. I was the official Detroit Fashion Week DJ for a couple of years. And then I also had a company where we did holiday lighting. So around the holiday season, we would go to homeowners and we'd say, hey, we have all the lights, all the decorations that you need. We have a licensed and insured electrician on staff. So we'll come out, we'll do all your decorating for you. We put it all on timers. You don't have to do anything. And, basically they would just rent the decorations from us. So we did that. We did a couple downtown areas. That grew pretty rapidly. And then just working as a financial advisor as well. Every area of business that I've been in so far, the skills have really transferred into what I'm doing now. I mean, whether it's talking about office operations or, accounting for a small business, or how do I go about getting new clients, or how do I market it? All of those things apply to what I do today.
It trickles down. That's an interesting play. For the light rental. Ooh,
yeah,
that's slick, sir. That is slick. I like it. I love it. I want people to take note on how the different styles of businesses you can start. And I know people are tired of me hearing me say this. Just because you start a business doesn't mean it has to last for 10, 20, 30 years. You can have something going for a couple of months, or you can have something going for a couple of years. It's a matter of, is it working for you? And what did you learn from that particular venture?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you may not be completely passionate about every business that you start, but you see the opportunity for cash flow there. And you never know what you're going to learn through osmosis, just, from running or operating that small business. You might be able to turn around and sell it in 2 to 3 years, some multiple of what you've put into that business. But the skill sets that you can pick up while doing that could apply to what is your true passion later down the road.
That's well said. So based off what you do now, because it sounds like in a nutshell, you just help businesses grow. So
right.
What are some things that smaller businesses that's normally overlooked as far as helping grow and expand their businesses from your standpoint?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I run into is when to add staff and being able to delegate responsibilities to that staff. So many financial advisors that are just starting out, it might just be them and one other part-time person. And a lot of times the advisors, because they are, small business owners and this is their baby, this business, they have a hard time of letting go of certain responsibilities that somebody else could be doing if they just delegated it properly. And what we want to, for our advisors, is really for them to focus on the high dollar activities in front of them, which is typically meeting with new people, being in front of clients, and educating clients. They should just spend their time on gathering the assets rather than doing, paperwork and following up with the back office, following up with transfers. If you can have somebody else do those, low value activities, I mean, it's a crucial part of the business, but you shouldn't be spending your time doing a, $15 to $20 an hour job when you can be making 300, 400, thousands of dollars an hour doing these other high value activities, things that you're actually good at that fall into your skill set as an advisor. So a lot of times we're looking at, hey, when do I add a team member? How do I qualify this team member? Here at Emmendale Marketing, we help them to qualify their staff members when they're going through that hiring process. So we help them find the staff. We help them qualify them. We use a personality test that tells us everything we need to know about that candidate, what roles they are a good fit for. And then we just help with, how do you get in front of more people? How do you make sure that you're building out a unique client experience? Because that's what's really going to build something that lasts. Financial advice in itself is really just a commodity these days. I mean, anyone can go online and just put in their age, how much their net worth is, what their risk tolerance is, and they'll get some sort of recommendation back just from the internet saying, hey, this is what a model portfolio might look like for you. So what sets your experience apart as an advisor? What sets your advice apart? You should have a unique process. You should have a unique client experience. You build rapport with those clients so that, they're willing to talk about you to friends and family and say, hey, you really should have a conversation with the guy that I work with. Here's what he does that's different from everybody else. And being able to articulate that to your clients so that they can know and feel that, and then they can actually share that story is majorly important.
Okay. So you the coach, you the overall coach. You the coach, you make the blueprint, and then you give it to the team.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. A lot of it's almost like talent management sometimes. So, I'm here as a resource. If they run into certain objections, maybe in the sales process, they just don't know how to overcome. They don't know necessarily how they can maximize their marketing dollars and where they should be spending those marketing dollars, where it's best allocated. We put together an actual tactical marketing plan for them.
Okay. So, okay, so you had multiple businesses that led you up to this. What was the aha moment to say, hey, I can help businesses run their business?
Yeah, so when I started working at the startup and I actually got that one-on-one experience with a financial advisor, and I really learned how he was operating his business, and I learned more about the financial world, I realized this is something that's super interesting. It's super profitable. And it really checks all the boxes for me as far as what I'm passionate about. And then when I found M&O marketing, it was like, okay, I really arrived at my home. This is the best place for me to be to do what I like to do. And, since being with M&O, it's really just taken off from there. I mean, I've grown at a fast rate. All of the advisors that I work with, their revenue's growing every year by 30%. And I just really found the right match for me.
Found what was around you and what was in you. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, if you're willing to share, what are some of the downfalls of being in this particular business? Because it's not always sweet. There's always a downside as opposed to the upside. What are some things that some people may want to consider if they want to go down your path?
Yeah, I mean, everything has pros and cons, right? So, one thing I would say is if you're not sales oriented, this probably isn't the career field for you. You do have to be out there prospecting every day. Activity is king in our business, and it really is a numbers game. The more people that you see on the front end, the more that's going to translate to success on the back end. So if you're not willing to put in those hours to both learn your profession, learn the products, learn about planning, spend time on the phones, pounding away at the phones to get in front of people and tell them what you can do for them, then it's probably not the business for you, because it does require, I would say, in that first 3 years, a lot of hours. I mean, as far as just getting in front of people and then learning about the business itself. And some things you're just not going to learn from YouTube or books or podcasts. Some of the things you're going to learn just through being around it, and seeing how, the people that have been in this business for years, how they operate and how they handle certain situations. A lot of times you just don't know what you don't know. I mean, you have to be there and show up. You can't learn if you're not there. And, again, prospecting. If you don't like to be on the phones calling people, cold calling, or if you don't like to be standing in front of crowds, giving a public presentation, it just might not be the field for you.
Okay. Well, let's talk about, it sounds like if you're strong in sales, that's a key indicator.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
if you're a people person, you're outgoing, you're likable, you like to be around people, you like to have conversations and develop new relationships. This is a relationship business, 100%.
Okay. So with that, what are there any, well, let's say we got your sales guy or your relationship liaison. You said I couldn't think of a better word. If they want to do what you do, what are some of the steps that they would take so they can be able to build a business like yourself, such as consulting other businesses?
Yeah, well, I mean, your first step would be to learn about financial planning, right? So at that point, you'd have to get your licenses, whether that's a life insurance license or a securities license, just depending on what part of the business that you want to go into. But you have to have those licenses. That's just checking off the regulatory box. Now, a lot of people think, okay, well, if I go out and get the license, that's going to teach me about the business and how to do the business. It doesn't. It's just passing a test so that you know the fundamentals. I mean, you get some of the fundamental information, but really you need to go out there and learn more about financial planning, what all that entails, and what financial advice entails. And from that point, once you have that knowledge, then you can actually start to apply that knowledge.
Is there a degree or a certificate you have to achieve in order to open a business?
Yeah, so I mean, the regular licenses that you would get through your state, it'd either be a life insurance license, it could be a Series 7 exam, it could be a Series 63, a Series 6, or a Series 65, depending on what types of financial advice you want to give and how you plan on charging for that advice. So those are the state licenses. You don't necessarily need to have a college degree to get those. If you do want to, learn about it, if, say you're a college student and you're interested in this career, majoring in finance and business is always a great idea. There's other designations, professional designations you can get. Some do require a college degree, like the CFP. That's probably the gold standard for financial planning, certified financial planner. That requires a bachelor's degree in order to sit for that class. And then that class itself is almost like its own college class. It's a very difficult test, but, that gives you a lot of the knowledge that you need.
Okay. And you saying there's different classifications for getting your insurance license. If you will, you mind breaking those down real quick?
Yeah, so I mean, a life insurance license, you can just get that through the state. There's a lot of different online studies where you can order the study materials for your state's exam. A popular one that we recommend to advisors is Kaplan, Kaplan. They have, the book for the life insurance exam, and then you can order like an online study material where you go through and you can create your own quizzes and just kind of go through those, answering the questions. It's all about repetition, just like any other test that you're trying to pass. It's all about memorization. So you can go through that, and you can do a life insurance license for a reasonably low price.
So if I wanted Parrish Insurance financials, really and truly, I can just go to Kaplan.
Yeah.
Learn everything that I can learn, pay the fee, and I can sell that particular type of insurance.
Exactly. Then you can sell life insurance once you get licensed. Then once you get licensed, what you'd have to do is find the insurance carriers that you want to work with. Who do I want to work with and why? What products do I want to be able to offer to my clients? And then at that point in time, that's where you'd find a firm like mine to get contracted with those different carriers so that you can start offering those products and making those sales.
Okay. So I'm trying to make a business comparison. So so you get your license and now you can sell insurance. Now you said you can go to insurance carriers. So I'm assuming this is like the, maybe the Fidelities, the Allstates, etc.
Exactly.
And
yeah, so I mean, a popular one for us is Nationwide, for instance.
Okay, let's use Nationwide. So if we got Nationwide has the insurance, and they're going to look for distributors, if you will, which is the people who got their certification in insurance to prove they know it and by law and they're certified and they can sell it. So you can go straight to that person and they can start selling insurance. However, I'm sure there are bigger companies and smaller companies. So the bigger companies go through people like yourself to find those insurance people and to keep those people educated on what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So the carriers, it's really a two-pronged business. So not only do we have to take care of our clients, the customers, the advisors, but really we need to take care of those relationships with the different carriers whose products we offer as well. So they're expecting us to do certain volumes of business with them in order to, have access to their products. But they're also relying on us to train the sales force, really, and be there to help them with that back office support. And the reason why the carriers do that is because it's a huge expense. So for them to do it themselves, it really just doesn't make sense. So that's why they rely on a brokerage like us to be the middleman for the sales force in the field.
Okay. So now to become like that brokerage, now, are there any additional qualifications you have to have in order to say, okay, now I'm the guy, like exactly who you are. I'm the guy who trains people. Is there any additional qualifications other than getting your insurance license or degree?
Usually it's production based. They want to see that you can actually bring on large volumes of premiums in order to give what they call an FMO contract or IMO or MGA or BGA. There's all these different names. What they all are is a brokerage contract to say, hey, you get paid a piece of every advisor's business. It's called an override. So to get that level of contract, they want to see that you're already doing, a specific volume of business, and that could be millions of dollars in premiums every year.
Well, I'm gonna ask the money question. How much revenue have you generated? What's the highest revenue generated for one of your clients?
For my clients, it'd be millions of dollars in revenue. For us as a firm, we do over $1 billion of premium every year. So, it's a large firm. We have 100 employees on staff here. And then, I work off of a commission as well. So I get a piece of that override that we earn on our advisors' business. So that's really why it's in our best interest to help the advisors grow their business, right? Because the more business they do, it equates to more money that we bring in as revenue. And then that obviously affects my income as well. So it's a win-win-win. We all sit on the same side of the table. We all have a vested interest in each other's success.
Those are my favorite deals. Win-win-win. If we work together, we go further together.
Yeah, exactly. Rising tide raises all ships, right? So
I like that. That's cool, man. Well, we tapped into the insurance. Let's talk about because you said there are many aspects of it. I'm assuming there are aspects of wealth building, and you said the hiring process.
Yeah.
What are some mistakes that most smaller companies make when it comes to delegating their business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, a lot of our advisors, when they start out early in their career, let's say they just went through Kaplan, they just got that life insurance license. Now, hey, it's just me. I don't have a lot of capital to spend on staff or anything like that. It's just me, myself, and my license, and I got to go out there and start bringing on clients so I can make money. So when they start out with that mindset, really, they're the operations manager, they're the salesperson, they're, doing everything in the business. So it gets to be difficult as they grow in their career for them to start letting go of some of those things and being able to delegate to other people. And a lot of times, as they're growing, we help them with the hiring process, because a lot of times an agent or an advisor doesn't even know how to get started with the hiring process. They think, all right, well, let me just post a job ad. I'm going to, interview a couple candidates. They may not even have an interview process at that point. So it might just be them sitting down with that candidate and saying, okay, well, they seem qualified, but from that point, bringing on that staff member, it's important to really qualify those candidates and actually know, hey, this is what their job duties look like. Have that description down on paper, so that they know what the role is, but doing a deeper dive as far as qualifying that candidate and just making sure the right people are sitting in the right seats on the bus. So, for instance, a marketing director. A lot of times when an advisor is looking to hire a marketing director, in their mind, they're thinking, well, I need somebody that's like this creative personality. Maybe they have some graphic design background. Maybe they have some social media background. Really, that's the complete opposite person that they want in that role. For a marketing director, what you're really looking for is somebody that's analytical, somebody that can look at data and actually come to a conclusion from that data, because they're going to be tracking, the effects of your campaigns, whatever you're doing for marketing, whether that's, you're running seminars out in the public, or maybe you're doing radio ads or TV ads, all that information coming in as far as how many first appointments did I have? How many actually showed up to their second appointment, kept that second appointment? That's the kind of information that the marketing director needs to be tracking on paper, so that you can actually see what your return on investment is for those different marketing funnels. So just helping with things like that, things that they may not necessarily think of as a new business owner.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. And I mean, to be frank, like some people I've been talking to a lot of people who are, smaller businesses that are willing to start up. And some people won't even think of the back end, or like just going to companies that handles your overall situation to where you can be productive. And to other people who may be searching for something, they may not think of that because that's kind of the boring part.
Right, sure.
Yeah, that's the boring part.
Not the most glamorous part of business, right? Not everyone wants to be in the background, but I've always found it comes with its own adventures. So,
however, you said your company generates $1 billion in revenue, so you can't ignore that. That's fact.
Well, it's $1 billion of premium, but it equates to multi-millions of dollars of revenue.
Of course. For those who may be listening, just because you generate $1 billion, that doesn't mean you pocket $1 billion. However,
right.
You still have to take care of your household as far as your business, and you keep what's left over and you reinvest, et cetera, however you may do it. But if you generate a certain amount of money, it's proven to be effective, and that there's a need in that particular market. That's what you want to take away from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of needs out there that, business owners have. So if you can help uncovering those needs and providing a solution to it, that's really what they're looking for, is a solutions leader. So if you can do that, you can uncover maybe a hidden untapped market in your area.
And see, now with that, I'm a pivot a little bit and just pick your entrepreneurial brain.
Sure.
And based off your experience to date, what are some of the things you wish you knew as an entrepreneur now that you didn't know, let's say, 6 years ago?
Yeah, I would say, the way that I look at sales as a whole has completely changed, because, when I was working sales jobs as, in my young 20s, early 20s, it was all very transactional. I pitch you something, you make a decision whether you want to buy it or not, and then from that point in time, our interaction basically ends. So I always thought of it just like you see in the movies, as a sales role, is, hey, you be this smooth talking person. You have to be able to think on your feet. You have to be able to, kind of twist their arm and get them to do what you want them to do. And that's really not how, that's really not how it works when you're dealing with large life-changing transactions. It is really more relationship based. So you want to get to know that person on a human level first and really uncover what their needs are. And then, you have the different solutions in mind, but that might change as your relationship with that person changes. And being able to provide that ongoing value. That's really what I see sales as now, is developing a relationship and then providing reoccurring value over time. Your relationship doesn't end just because the sales was made. So that's one thing. Another thing is just how important time is and how you're spending your time and being able to manage that effectively. That's something that I really had to learn through experience was, how should I be spending my time? Where's the highest value for my time to be invested in? And, developing some systems to handle other aspects of the job, whether that's like following up with people or, doing things like podcast interviews. Where do I fit that in my week so that, I'm still not taking time away from that high value item, which for me is always getting in front of new people and, working with my existing clients.
That's well said, Mr. Wright. And, speaking on time, we're running out. I want to start landing the plane, but before we officially land, this is your time for selfless promotion. So,
Okay. All about selfless promotion. Yeah, I'm happy to plug something real quick. So, I'm working on a webinar that I'll be hosting tomorrow. So I'm doing a webinar series once a month now for new advisors and current advisors that I work with. So tomorrow I'll actually be doing one at noon Eastern Standard Time. It's with one of the country's top financial advisors. And the topic is he's going to discuss how you can earn 80 to 100 client referrals each year. So for anyone who's interested in any of the webinars that I'll be doing, if you just want to reach out to me, my number at my office is 248-784-1213. And you can always find us at emendomarketing.com if you're a financial advisor, or maybe you're just looking for some direction in your career. I'm always here as a sounding board. So feel free to reach out.
And you said you plan on doing this every month?
Yeah, I'm going to do one webinar a month. It's going to be with different vendors that I've worked with. It's going to be with, some of the carriers themselves talking about the products. It's going to be with top financial advisors, just sharing ideas and things that have worked for them in their practice. And, we probably will even do one on podcasting at some point, just different branding platforms. So yeah, I'm trying to bring a new idea to the marketplace once a month.
Okay. I like that. We can definitely leave something in the show notes as well.
Okay.
So we can keep getting the word out. Is there any social media you would like to leave out along with a website?
Yeah, so our company website is emendomarketing.com. So it's M&O. It stands for Michigan and Ohio. That's actually where we were founded back in 1976. So been around for 50 years now. I'm on all the social channels, so you can find me on LinkedIn, David.Wright, WMS. That stands for Wealth Management Specialist. On Instagram, I'm Team David at Mo Marketing. On Facebook, it's David.Wright of M&O Marketing. So I'm pretty easy to find. I always try to respond within 24 hours at the minimum. So feel free to reach out.
All right. And last but not least, our last question for real. Is there anything I missed that you would like to touch on?
No, I think we covered a really good overview on, financial services and what our firm does and, how you might even get started in a career in financial services. I don't think that's the first thing that pops to people's mind when they think of, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, but it's a huge opportunity. there's a lot of opportunity within this field. So I would say, you know, if you're a young person going through school, or you're just trying to figure out which way in the world you should go, it's something worth considering.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Wright.
Yeah, thank you, Parrish, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, definitely. And we got to do this again so we can get a little more in depth.
Sure.
Cause it's never enough time, just a lot amount of time just to get everything in this small conversation. So I would love to have you back so we could tap in deeper into it.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
And I would like to hold on one second. You know, I'm gonna sign us out. This is the Entrepreneur Kickback. I'm with David.Wright, and we are out.